Today is February 5th, 2025. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, two items on the program today, but I do want you, at least for this first issue, to get back into your Wayback Machine, because we're going to talk about something that started back in 2015, 9 years ago. During the summer of 2015, a pro-life activist named Daleiden, young man from California, has ties with Lila Rose, so already he's a part of that investigative secret recording kind of a format that she was involved in, trying to catch Planned Parenthood in some skullduggery. Well, anyway, he secretly recorded Planned Parenthood executives, kind of high-level people, talking about selling fetal body parts for research. And Daleiden was with a company or a pro-life group called the Center for Medical Progress, and he was pretending, well, this is kind of on the lam, he's pretending to represent an organ donation procurement company. So they're talking about buying fetal body parts and then selling them to research labs, which actually it's against the law to use fetal parts for research. Yeah, it's against the law. Okay, so that's what's going on here. And this woman, her name was Dr. Deborah Nucatello, I think it is. She's Planned Parenthood's Director of Medical Services. She's talking, remember, she doesn't know she's being recorded. She's talking to Daleiden, and they're talking about harvesting intact organs for research. In order to preserve specific organs, she elaborates, and this is what she says on the recording. Quote, "We've been very good of getting heart, lung, liver, so I'm not going to crush that part." So she's talking about performing like a dismemberment abortion, where she's going in and they're extracting body parts, but they're trying to be very selective on what they preserve because they want to be able to sell these to these procurement companies. So I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below. I'm going to crush above, crushing with a forceps. I'm going to crush above, and I'm going to see if I can get it all intact. Okay. And she's saying this over lunch while she's sipping tea. You know, the optics were unbelievable. And even Planned Parenthood President Cecilia Richards, who I've mentioned before, got the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Joe Biden about 2 or 3 months ago. Anyway, that's another story. Go back and see that tape where I talk about Cecilia Richards, who just passed away just a few weeks ago. She actually had to apologize for Nucatello's tone and statements, but she didn't really criticize or challenge the doctor's discussion about selling fetal body parts. Only her tone. That was the problem. Her tone, the optics. Okay. Well, apparently that in the next 6 months, 11 videos, maybe a total of 11 videos were released by Daleiden's group, the Center for Medical Progress. And all of the pro-lifers were in an uproar. Republicans in Congress wanted to investigate Planned Parenthood. Some wanted to defund Planned Parenthood. So what was the response by Democrats to these videos as they dripped out over the course of the rest of 2015? Did the Democrats want to investigate Planned Parenthood? No, they don't. They're in bed with Planned Parenthood. They wanted to investigate the investigator, David Daleiden. And since this had taken place in California, the California Attorney General was on the case. And this is a person that we know and love. In 2015, the Attorney General for the state of California was Kamala Harris. Long before she was my word salad queen, she was the California Attorney General. And she went after Daleiden with a vengeance. Her goal was to get him convicted and imprisoned. That was her goal. And well, she was on the case. Well, eventually she ended up in the Senate and then vice president, and the rest is history. And the next attorney general just picked up where she left off, and he was the target. David Daleiden was the target. But for 9 years, there have been delays, suits, countersuits, legal challenges, more delays, more hangling. It just on and on and on. 9 years of postponements. Well, finally, it all came to a head this past Monday when Daleiden agreed to a plea deal. He was going to plead no contest to one charge of unlawful recording of confidential communication in exchange for the dropping of the several felony charges. So, no contest, but all the other charges are dropped. Daleiden will receive no jail time, no fines, no admission of wrongdoing, and no probation. So it's done. The case against David Daleiden is history, and he is not going to spend one day in jail for these 11 secretly recorded videos. It's a huge victory for the pro-life movement. It's a huge victory for him, obviously. It's a great, huge victory, I think, for the First Amendment. And, it just perhaps gives other intrepid investigative reporters more opportunities to investigate Planned Parenthood, because this is an evil, corrupt organization that really needs to go. Okay, last item. Last night in the Senate voted and they confirmed Pam Bondi to be the new Attorney General, U.S. Attorney General in the Trump administration. The vote was 54-46. Now remember, after the election, Republicans gained seats and took control of the Senate. We have 53 Republicans against 47 Democrats. So the vote was here. It was 54-46. Every Republican voted for Bondi. And one Democrat, one lone Democrat, voted in favor of Pam Bondi. So who was this radical, this rebel rouser? It was none other than John Fetterman of Pennsylvania. Now, I've had my issues with Fetterman. And I admit, I've been very critical of him. And he's still a liberal Democrat. He's pro-abortion. I don't agree with him on probably anything. But in the last 4 or 5 months, he has become far more normal. As a Democrat, he is open-minded. He's willing to hear arguments from the other side. He's willing to even vote for Republicans who he may not necessarily agree with, but he has been fair-minded, and I will give him all his due that he has become a fair-minded Democrat. I'm here again. We're probably not going to agree with him on most things, but I do appreciate his honesty and his willingness to listen to the other side and devote his conscience and not be force-fed by Chuck Schumer and the Democratic leadership. So kudos for John Fetterman. He's one Democrat who's willing to think and vote outside the box. So Pam Bondi's in. Pro-lifers are not going to be arrested anymore. Conservative Catholic churches or attendees in Catholic churches are not going to be investigated or labeled as domestic terrorists like they were by this one FBI memo in Richmond, Virginia. It's not going to happen. Those days are gone. The weaponization of the Department of Justice is over. And thank the Lord for that. Pam Bondi is the new Attorney General. So with that, I will let you go. I'll see you next time.